Hello, Africa. My name is Eunice Tony, and this is eTVGhana's African Women's Voices show. It's the show that tackles issues pertaining to women as they contribute to national development. I am so happy to be meeting you again today. And as we always do, today is Women Crush Wednesday. And I would like to say we received a very beautiful message from someone who is crushing on his wife. That person is Pa Kwesi Forson, and he says that today, being WCW on eTVGhana's African Women's Voices show, he would like to say to his wife something really beautiful, and I'd like us to put it up to say, Mrs. Forson, you are really being crushed on by Pa Kwesi Forson. So let's take a look at that. We try to get that. I'm going to actually say what Pa Kwesi said. Pa Kwesi says to his wife, whom he's crushing on, that she is his soulmate, he is his bedmate, she is his roommate, everything mate. So he's saying that he's crushing on you and he really loves you. And we all support him to say, hey, Mrs. Forson, you are the crush of his life. Continue to make him happy. However, we are also going to be celebrating birthday for some two lovely people that we have had in the studios. First is our dietitian. She is Frederica. Frederica, happy birthday to you. We would like to say, may the Lord bless and protect you and we also have another birthday message for Eunice. ADB, Spintex branch, we want to say happy birthday to you, and we want you to enjoy the rest of your day and also to continue to celebrate because you're so special to us. We've gotten the footage for the WCW where Pa Kwesi Forson was talking to his wife and saying that she was the crush of his life. So let's take a look at that. All right, eTVGhana's African Women's Voices show is proudly sponsored by Voltic, my hydration partner. Whenever you think about water, just think about Voltic. Voltic should be one that you should always consider whenever you have to hydrate. And the good thing about Voltic is the fact that it's environmentally friendly. So wherever you are, if you take your Voltic, do not dispose them anyhow. Find the bin around you and then dispose it there. Voltic wants you to keep Ghana clean. And there's also a practice here on eTVGhana's African Women's Voices show. Every commercial break, we want you to grab your Voltic and sip on it. And when you sip on it, you just feel the natural goodness of Voltic. Also put together my hair by Awo's Hair. And you can find her on Instagram, Awo's Hair. She would be able to do whatever hairstyle you want. If you want it in braids, if you want wig caps that are bleached, Awo's Hair can always do that for you. So please locate her on Instagram and on Facebook at Awo's_hair. We also have got Lizzy's tomato mix. Lizzy's tomato mix is this particular tomato mix that is causing a revolution in Ghana. When it comes to all those dishes you need to prepare with tomato, you need to do that with Lizzy's tomato mix. So your groundnut soup, your pepper soup, your light soup, your abenkwan, whatever it is, your jollof is really going to taste good with Lizzy's tomato mix. I'm going to be telling you what number to call if you want to buy it in bulk purchase. So you need to continue watching the show so that when I give you the number, you have it right away. Chana Sheto. Chana is Ghana's #1 pepper sauce. So if you've not tried it, you need to go out there and look for Chana Sheto. The packaging is on point. So when you buy it as a gift for someone, not only does it taste so good, the presentation is also very nice. Okay, so I'll talk to you more about my sponsors in the course of the program. However, I'm going to be taking you right now over to the 60 seconds update segment where we talk to you about what's happening to African women in Ghana and across the world. Do stay tuned. Welcome back to eTVGhana's African Women's Voices show. So on our social media pages, we advertised, or we said we're going to treat a particular topic that was going to touch the lives of a lot of women, and that has to do with our finances. A lot of times people don't really know if they are financially responsible or not. Today we're going to be dissecting that particular term about being financially responsible. We're going to find out a whole lot, so you need to sit down right now and then get to listen to us, because I'm going to be introducing my guest, and she's someone who's into marketing and communications. She also understands finance. So whatever she'll be telling us will be coming from a right source, okay? So ladies and gentlemen, as we always do, join me as I make welcome our guest for the day. Her name is Clara. Clara, you're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You look splendid.
You do too.
Thank you so much.
You're
All right,
welcome.
so let's just get down to business.
Okay.
The thing is financial responsibility.
Okay.
What does it mean to be financially responsible?
Okay. So first off, I would like to wish your viewers a happy new year, and I wish them all the best in this year amid the COVID. Come 31st December, I wish that everything that we hope for will come to pass and will be richer, most importantly.
Amen to that.
Yeah. Okay, so back to the topic of financial responsibility. I would move away from the office and all the financial jargons, and I'm going to be as basic as possible. Now, let's look at the two words, financial and responsibility. Now, when we talk about finance, it has everything to do with money. So how the money was earned, how money was generated, how you save, how you spend, everything about money is finance. And then we look at responsibility, which talks about taking ownership or accountability of something that has been given to you.
Yes.
And so if you imagine the two words, then it basically has to do with how you are responsible for your money, how you manage your money. If you earn 1,000 cedis, whatever you do with that 1,000 cedi is your financial responsibility.
Okay.
Taking into consideration yourself, if you have kids, your kids, or people who depend on you. And then if you have any external promises that you made, you need to stick to that. And all of that encompasses your financial responsibility.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it means that if you're someone who wants to be known as somebody who is financially responsible, you need to be a very disciplined person. That's what it means.
Yes, you have to be very, very disciplined. So one thing about financial responsibility, as I said, whilst you're taking care of yourself, you're taking care of your kids or people who are dependent on you, and then your promises, you need to put a budget. Okay, to say that, okay, now I have earned 1,000 cedis for the month. How much am I allocating to myself? And in yourself, you know that you have bills. So every bill that you have to pay, you need to list it down. You need to list, including your savings as well. So your loans, your hair, your makeup, that outing, the tip, everything that you intend doing with your fraction of the 1,000 cedi, you put it down. If you have tuition fees to pay for your kids, or you have an aged person you need to take care of because you're in Africa and we are very extended.
Of course, we take care of our families.
Exactly.
Down.
Down. So you don't want to leave anyone out. Factor everyone into your budget. And then we have people who just make promises when they're happy. You know, you meet that security guy at the gate, and it's like, oh, boss, good evening. So, ending. Memo baby, the baby, you need to keep that in your budget too, because you don't want to be going back on your word.
Yes.
And so all these things are very important and should be included in your budget in order for you to be called a financially responsible person. Because you cannot be a financially responsible person and you're not keeping up to your promises. You're not paying your kids' school fees. You're not investing. You are not financially responsible.
So why would you say one ought to be financially? Why is it important for one to be financially responsible?
Now, in order for you to be a financially responsible person, you need discipline, okay, in the first place. And then you have a budget that you're sticking to. Now, if you realize that if you stick to your budget through and through, you'll be able to cater for all your needs, okay? You'll be able to pay for your rent, you'll be able to pay for your utility, your kids' school fees, your clothes, your books, everything that you need to do, you would be able to do and save as well. But if you do not factor these things and you do not do the budget, you realize that it's half mid-month and then the salary is finished. And then they'll tell you that, oh, and you're crying, it's a payday. They're waiting for the next payday, and they haven't been able to meet their financial obligations. So it's important that at every point we stick to our budget so that we can be financially responsible people. Yes.
Okay. So it gets us to also say that one of the reasons why we could say that one has to be financially responsible is the fact that it also makes you to be able to put your plans together.
Exactly.
Because a lot of times women hardly plan. You just mentioned that if we want to make our hair, if we want to give a tip, if we've made some kind of promise at the gate, if the security man, we need to put all of those things together. And a lot of us do not do that. Because, okay, even if we decide to start, we could start it and then maybe 3 days into the month, we stop. Really, I can't be doing this every day. I need to write out what I've got to spend. I can't do that. So it means that we really have to be able to imbibe the discipline to be financially responsible.
Exactly.
But if we find ourselves in positions where we are able to stick to this, then we'll live better lives.
We definitely would live better lives. We would retire better. Our kids will attend good schools. We would have good health care. Because another thing is, because we are not planning, we don't know where we are putting the money. So someone earns a salary and like, and the money is gone. You're not able to do the things that they have set out to do, because they didn't plan their finances. So one thing that I always like to tell people is, it's very difficult to stick to a budget, like a diet. When the year starts, everybody wants to go to the gym. Everybody wants to eat healthy. But too bad you're not able to do. You can't blame the gym instructor because you are gaining extra weight. You are not being disciplined. Or you get sick. You can't blame the doctor because you're not well. You know, so we need to, there are certain things that we need to be very deliberate about, and one of those things is our finances and sticking to the budget.
Awesome. So we are going to find out the effects of financial irresponsibility right after this break. Do not go away. You're welcome back to eTVGhana's African Women's Voices show. Before we went on the break, we were discussing financial responsibility. And so far, what we said about financial responsibility is that it helps you to be able to plan. So if you're a lady watching me right now, I know some gentlemen also watch, but if you're watching me right now, it's good to let you know, if you missed the first part, that you need to put a plan together. So if you're spending 1,000 Ghana cedis within a month, you need to write out everything you need to do with that 1,000 Ghana cedis, including how much you want to spend. That way you have a guide, and you need to be able to discipline yourself to meet up with all the things you've written that you're going to use the money for. That is to say that you do not make empty promises. So you don't see the security man at the gate and say, hey, I have something for you. You don't see somebody who was just nice to you and then you make promises. If you want to make those promises, remember that you've got a budget, and if your budget is not going to work for that month, do not make the promises. You could just wait until you are able to meet up with those promises. So we're going to find out from her what the effects of financial irresponsibilities are. So take it away, Clara.
Okay. So we've already established the fact that planning is very necessary in achieving financial independence and being financially responsible. Now, the first effect of not being financially responsible is the fact that you would not be able to meet your needs for the month or for the given period. So assuming you want to go on a vacation, for instance, and we do that a lot here. You want to go on a vacation to Cape Coast, for instance, and in your budget, or you haven't planned for it, you earn 1,000 cedis a month. You have school fees to pay, you have rent, you have bills to pay. But you take all that money and go on the trip and go and have fun, and you come back home and you're not able to do the things that are important to you. Okay? So you'll not be able to meet your responsibilities that are given to you in a particular period. The second thing too is if you have kids involved, where you have kids who have to go to school, you have tuition fees to pay, you leave the children stranded. You put burden on the children, because it is not nice for any kid to find out that their parents doesn't have money for their school fees.
Yeah.
You know, it puts a lot of pressure on the child, and the child is not able to mingle with the friends, because then they have that mentality that, oh, I'm lacking and I don't have and I don't fit into society. And so your lack of planning affects the child as well. Now, in the home, even in the marital home, you get little fights and quarrels with your partner. You're fighting over unnecessary things. Why are you sleeping on my side of the bed? Just because the man or both of you were not able to plan properly to manage your finances in a given period, and so there are certain obligations that haven't been met. Okay, so then in the home, there's always that tension where people
strain. So it causes a strain on the relationship.
Exactly, it causes a strain because you're not planning your finances. You don't know what to do. And then even for the young ones, even as students are not left out when it comes to the conversation of financial responsibility, or the youth. You go to school, you're given a certain monthly allowance. You should be responsible enough to plan with that money. If you don't do that, that is where you have you have lots of people going after people they shouldn't be going after, practicing all kinds of social vices just so they could meet up. Exactly, because you're not planning. And assuming you were planning and living within your means, you wouldn't find yourself in such situation. Yeah. So these are some of the factors that leads to financial literacy.
Okay, so since this program actually talks a lot about women, let's say most women, you know that we like things really nice and beautiful.
We do.
And somehow we probably earn 1,000 Ghana cedis or 2,000 Ghana cedis, whatever the case is.
Yeah.
But there's this hair that you want, and the hair costs like 4,000 Ghana cedis.
Yeah.
You get it. There's this nail you want, this nail extension that you want, and it costs this much.
Yeah.
There's this dress you want, and it costs this much. So at the end of the day, you see that you've got needs, but those needs are like much more than what you're earning.
Right.
And a lot of times, because we want to represent well when we go for occasions.
We do.
So we find ourselves, you know, having to stretch, you know, sometimes even go at borrowing because we have to get those things that we want to look good.
Yeah.
Especially in these times that you need to take pictures for social media.
Yeah.
You don't want to take pictures and then your pictures don't look nice.
Yeah.
They don't look, you know, like there's no swag in the picture. You want to actually make a statement.
Yeah.
So we find ourselves always doing things overboard.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do we do? Because it's something like it's
Yeah.
that difficult.
Yeah. I think that is something that I have also realized, that most of us women now try to keep up with trends. But the thing is this, if you want to buy hair, like really good hair that is so pricey, you earn 1,000 cedis a month. Okay, sorry. You earn 1,000 cedis a month. You know that the hair piece is 2,000 or 4,000. How much do you need to put aside every month in order for you to get that hair? You probably have to buy the hair during Christmas, depending on how much you earn.
And that's the problem. I want to wear the dress or I want to wear the hair for this particular wedding that's like a month away.
Okay.
I can't wait 10 months later to be able to buy it because by then it's out of style.
Yeah,
it's
but
not
guess what? If you had started budgeting and planning way ahead of time, and that is why you shouldn't be doing impulse buying. Don't do things you haven't budgeted for. I am sure you can do some really nice braids that will take you to the wedding. You know, we shouldn't, half of the time, we shouldn't allow societal pressures to push us into doing things that we do not want to do, to push us into things that would not make us comfortable. Because tell you what, you go borrow that money, okay, to buy the dress, to buy the hair, and you go and you represent, okay? Your friends think you're looking all chic, you're looking all nice. At the end of the day, you have a negative on your account. You still have bills to pay. You know, you've gone for a loan, you've borrowed money from somebody, and you still have bills to pay. So I think that as women, we should learn to be content. Okay, if you want to achieve financial independence, being content is very important because you need to defer your consumption, okay, for the future. So then, if it means that you would buy that expensive hairpiece during Christmas, so be it. Okay, and I think that is something we need to teach our kids as well. To say that, you know what, you want this toy in the store, but you would get it during Christmas or you would get it after you have done this chore, or you've passed your exam or something. We should learn the reward system instead of just wanting to get everything now and today. I think, yeah.
I kind of like the suggestion you also put across, and I think it's going to work for some of us who are watching, if not for all of us. You mentioned that there could be some braid that you could carry. So let's take, for instance, you want that particular hair, and the hair is not working for you because the money situation is not the best. So her suggestion is, just get yourself some plaits or a braid, something else that really looks very fly.
Exactly.
You mustn't go for that occasion with that hair. So once you're looking good and the pictures will come out nice in something else that you can afford, it's the best option for you at that time. Then just save towards it, and then you'll be able to get yourself whatever it is you want.
Tell you what, when you go broke, your friends are going to talk behind your back. So you're better off keeping that money in the bank and looking broke. Yeah. You're better off keeping the money in the bank or in an investment, look broke now, so that when they are looking broke because they just want to be spending all around, then you know that you're covered. You know, you have some form of insurance or a backup plan for you
to follow. Okay, so I like where the conversation is going now, because the reason why certain people are not going to be able to get certain things they want is because they did not plan early, they didn't start. However, this program is to let you know that, okay, if you didn't start planning, it's never too late to start planning. Okay, so if you're watching us and you are just starting, no problem, it's a good step. It's better than not having to plan at all. So let's move some steps backward now. Let's say that you know, when you get to 18, that's when we know that, okay, it's time for you to be able to vote. You can own a bank account. At that time, you could do certain things because at that time, you are now being welcomed into adulthood. So what would you suggest should be the financial strategy or financial plan of somebody who maybe is 20? Because once you're 18, we begin to see, okay, now you're mature. You could even get a job before you know you're 20. So from your 20s, what kind of plan should you be making around your finances?
Okay, so for every young person, right up from 18 to your 20s, the entire stretch, you are young. You are allowed to take risk. Okay, try everything, but not everything. You know, take all the risk when it comes to investment. Invest in your knowledge. Okay, invest in your knowledge, because half of the time, people do not even know what they're doing when it comes to investment. They don't know where to put their money. They don't know which bank to put their money. They don't know what financial instrument works. And it's very important to build in your knowledge, because if you're able to go on YouTube to watch a makeup tutorial, you should be able to go on Google to know what financial instruments you should be putting your money into. So for a young person, for instance, you are allowed the freedom. You have so much time to retirement. Okay, let's assume that the retirement age is age 60. Okay, right from your 20s to 60, you have a lot of time. Okay, save money early and consistently. Okay, go in for, if you understand the equities market, if you understand stocks, if you understand how stocks work, you can try the equities market. If you're a very conservative person and you say that, you know what, I don't want to try stocks, I do not understand too much about stocks, try Treasury Bills, try fixed income securities. They are risk-free instruments that you can put your money into. Start a business. Someone will say, oh, I don't have a job, and so I can't invest. Start a business. Start something. You have so much time on your hands that you can utilize, you can use to make money, and then you can invest as well. But once you have a job, if you're lucky enough to have a permanent job or whatever job that is earning you a salary, remember to save at least 20% of that income. If I were you, I would save more than 20, because the more, the early you start and the more you use in your investment, the better you get at the end of the period.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to get back to you after this commercial break. We'd like you to take us through what kind of plan somebody in the 30s, 40s, and then even retirement should be doing, okay?
Sure.
Right after this break, so do not go anywhere. You're welcome back to eTVGhana's African Women's Voices show. I'm going straight to our Facebook page to acknowledge our Facebook fans and those who are watching us right now from across the world. I see you, Okereke Ezinwanne. You're watching us from the United Kingdom. Thank you so much. You've been really dedicated and you keep watching all the time. We really appreciate your support. I see you, Abdulaziz from Casablanca. You're sending us a wave. I also see you, Monica. Monica is watching us from Togo. I see someone else, Paul, you're watching us from Sao Tome. Hi, how is it over there? Thank you so much for your support. And I see some waves coming from Bangkok, from China. Thank you so much, all of you, for watching us. And I see some comments here. And then Vida says, wow, Clara, you look stunning. I like the way you articulate what you're saying. And I'm going to take what you're saying as well. Okay. Vida, thank you so much. That's what we want. We want to be able to impact and get you to change your lifestyle to be financially responsible. So we're going back to the conversation. If you just joined us, well, we haven't gone too far, so I'll just give you a little recap. And that has to do with discipline and planning. If you want to be a financially responsible person, you need to be very, very much involved in getting yourself disciplined and planning. And when you plan, you have to decide that you're going to save this amount of money and stick to it. The effect of financial irresponsibility affects your children, because your children will get to school and will have inferiority complex because they will always be taunted at and they'll always be reminded that they've not paid their school fees or they've not gotten certain things that they need. So your irresponsibility would affect your children. And financial irresponsibility will also get you not to be able to meet your needs. And that's not what you want. Financial irresponsibility also makes you to get yourself in debt, because you begin to find yourself wanting things that you can't afford. But because you are irresponsible financially, you find yourself in debt. Today, we want it to come to a stop. So we went backwards and we're talking about how you should be investing from the age of 20. And the point she's made is that if you've gotten a job at the age of 20, you need to be able to save at least 20% of that income of yours. If you can save much more, the better. If you don't have a job, I mean, friends give you stuff, family gives you stuff, your parents. So whatever you get, make sure you get to save something out of what you've been given. Okay? So now we're going to continue with the conversation, and I wanted to find out what kind of plan somebody in her 30s to 40s can make, especially women.
Yeah. Okay, so as women, so I'll look at the 30-year-old and a 40-year-old with kids, because I'm assuming around that time you've started your beautiful family. And then I would also look at the single mothers as well. Yeah. So now I'm in my 30s or 40s and I have kids. What you should be doing, okay, at around this age is to plan for your kids' education depending on the age that your kids are. So even if your kid is age 2, you should be planning for the college education of your child. Now in Ghana, we have free SHS, so you have less burden when it comes to high school. That is if you want to go to the public school. However, when you get to the tertiary level or the university level, you should be saving towards your child's education. Very important. You should also be saving towards your retirement. Okay? Save for your retirement. Save for family vacations if you believe in family vacations. Save for your lifestyle. What life do you want to live? You want to drive a really fancy car, you want to go on vacation to wherever, you know, you want to do the girls hangout. You should have different saving plans for these things. And so you earn 1,000 cedis, you earn 2,000 cedis, you earn 5,000 cedis. You should be able to put money into these various buckets towards your child's college education, towards your retirement, which is very important because at that time you are nearing retirement. And so if someone in their 20s are not so keen about saving for their retirement, you should be, because around that age, you have less time for your retirement. And so you should intensify your investments into your retirement. Someone will say, oh, I have a good paying job and the company pays for my SNIT. The company does pay for your SNIT, but it would interest you to know, last 2 years in 2019, an article was released and less than 86% of Ghanaians earn 1,000 cedis a month after retirement. So would you be able to live on less than 1,000 cedis a month in your 60s? And how many people in their 60s have all their kids in college? someone is 60, but their kids are still young. Their kids are still in the high school. And you need to pay tuition fees. You need to fend for the kids. You need to clothe them. You need to pay bills. And so if 86% of Ghanaians are earning less than 1,000 cedis, you need to advise yourself. You know, you need to, and that is where the conversation becomes very real, because you're like, oh, if I'm going to be earning less than 1,000 cedi, then I'm better off putting money towards my retirement than going to buy that expensive hair, than trying to be like my friends. Because maybe your friend has some, I don't know, maybe a source of income, and that's what we don't know half of the time, because maybe your friend has another job, a side hustle, a business. She's married to like a super rich person who can fund her lifestyle. But if you're the average Ghanaian who does not have that kind of luxury, then you need to start prioritizing your lifestyle, your kids, your retirement, your emergency fund. Okay.
In other words, you're trying to say that we need to have several streams of income then.
Yeah.
Because if you're earning 1,000 or 2,000 Ghana cedis, by the time you have to put 3%, 4%, 5% together, different percentiles, you know, for your retirement, for your children, for this kind of, you know, vacation and all of that, the money is actually finished. So we need extra streams of income to be able to help us to facilitate such endeavors. Okay. So now let's just get down to the basics. How do we get our children to be financially responsible? Because it happens, or it could be that a lot of us did not follow this practice, and we've gotten closer to retirement. So we do not want our children to have to face this. We do not want relatives who are younger to face this. We don't want Ghana's future to be like this. We want a better future for our children and for every Ghanaian and for every African across the world. How do we get to raise financially responsible children?
Okay, I think so. In my opinion, the first step in instilling that culture of saving and investments in a child is accountability. You need to teach the child to be accountable for their actions. Okay, so most of us in this generation, or most first generation or second generation, we think that we want to give our kids the kind of lifestyle that we didn't get when we were younger.
True.
And so if you didn't get all the toys as a young person, you want to buy all the toys for your kids, so that they also feel like, yeah, my mother is working. Unlike you, whose mom was in the farm, your child's mom is working in the bank.
But that's peer pressure. You go to your neighbor's house, they go to school, they see other children having all these tablets and sophisticated items. You don't want your child to feel inferior. You want your child to also level up and also be able to match up to those people. So for that reason, you get to get them those things so that they don't feel inferior.
But we need to teach the children accountability, because my point is this: what did the child do to earn that tablet? What did the child do to earn that tablet? It shouldn't just be because it's my child and I can afford it. The child has to earn that tablet. The child has to earn that toy. Okay, so when you teach the child that, you know what, you need to work to get this, then you're instilling accountability into the child. And then we build from there. And so I remember when I was younger, my mom got us piggy banks. So you have the piggy banks, and she's going to give you all the snack and everything to school, but she's also going to give you money, because she believes maybe you might want to buy something. But at the end of the day, when you come home, she's going to ask you, how much have you put in your piggy bank today? What did you use your money for? Half of the time, we don't even ask our kids what they use their money for. You need to be able to ask your child, so what did you buy today? Oh, she'll tell you, I bought this. And based on the conversation you have with your child, you would be able to tell your child, oh, but I gave you this. Because half of the time, you give your child a juice box, and she goes to buy a juice box in school. You give your child fruits, and because friends are buying fruits, she would also go and buy fruit, but she'll bring all the food in her lunchbox back home. You know, so if we have these conversations with our children, I have given you 1 CD to school. What did you use your 1 CD for? Do you get it? Or the child goes to the store and sees this toy. Mommy, I want this toy. You told the child, you know what? We're going to put money into your piggy bank, and once we have that money, we're going to buy the toy for you. So the child knows that in order for me to buy this item, I need to save for it. And these are the little ways that we can instill the culture of saving. Another thing is to motivate the child. Half of the time, we send kids to run errands, and we don't even reward them, and it's very demotivating.
Because it's not African. We don't understand the reason why we should reward our children. You run an errand for me, and then I have to reward you.
No, but
you see, sometimes our culture also impedes certain things like this.
But you're instilling something into the child. You're teaching the child that when you work, you would be rewarded for it. And so the child runs the chore. You don't have to do it all the time, but you reward the child. You know what? Okay, I'm going to put this money into your piggy bank for you because you have done this chore for me. I'm going to put this money into your piggy. And the child will even be motivated because he wants to get more money. And at the end of the period, after the child has saved, you should tell the child, okay, this is what we have saved for the entire year. As part of opening your Christmas gifts, open your piggy bank, count the money with the child and say, oh, you know what, you've been able to save 50 cedi this whole year. I'm going to double it for you. And the child feels motivated. The child is always excited to want to save because the child knows that the money is growing. And as a child does that, as a child grows, the child grows with that culture and the child understands investing. So I think this is something that we as parents should try and do with our child. Let's make investing or saving a happy thing. Okay, the other time I was discussing with my friend, and in her home they actually have a healthy competition. So the parents have a piggy bank, the kids have a piggy bank, and at the end of the year, whoever has the most money in the piggy bank gives the other person a treat. You know, and half of the time the parents try to reduce there so that the kids would win, and that makes them excited. They're always happy because they want to save. And as you're teaching the kids this, you should teach them to track it. So today I put 1 cedi down. Tomorrow I put 1 cedi down, and calculate with the child. And once the child knows the reward or the benefits of saving, the child would pick it, and the child will grow up. So just as the child is learning to play a musical instrument, the piano, whatever, let this be something that you teach the child. Let's not spoil our kids with gifts, all in the name of we're trying to catch up. Yes, let them catch up, but let them earn it. You know, let them earn it. Kids go to the store half of the time, and this will be the last point I'll make on this issue. So kids would go to the store, and if you go to the store with a child and you are not strong, you would buy the entire store for the child.
Of course, because they'll keep pointing at everything.
Yes, and they would embarrass you. But you know what you can do is, before taking the child to the store, tell the child, this is 20 cedi, and this is all you can spend for today. So the child goes to the store and knows that she has 20 cedi. She's entitled to 20 cedi. So everything that she buys has to sum up to 20 cedi. And you will be amazed. So she would go and pick the item, and she will have to check the price. Because if it's not your budget, you can't buy it. And these are the little things that we need to practice with our children in order to instill the culture of savings and investments in them.
Awesome. Okay, so as you're watching me right now, I want to know, are you okay with having to motivate your children by, rewarding them when they run errands? I'm going to open the phone lines, and I'd like to hear from you. So this is a suggestion that has worked for some people. Let us know how you feel about it and if you would like to try it out, okay? So we'll be doing that right after this commercial break. Do not go away. You're welcome back to eTVGhana's African Women's Voices show. Going over to our Facebook page, I see Nikomi. Nikomi says, I am watching you and I'm enjoying the show. Nikomi is watching us from Accra. Thank you very much for the support. I also see some other person who is watching from Kumasi, Susie. Susie, I see your wave. Thank you very much for joining in. And then somebody else here, her name is MFA. MFA says, oh, I'm very used to the tips that Clara usually shares on your program on YFM, and I always enjoyed it. You're always on YFM.
Yes.
So she says that she likes the tips you always share there. So I think that's a fun.
Thank you. Thank you.
And she's from Takrady. All right. Okay. Thank you very much. And then we're going to continue with our conversation. And I said earlier that the phone lines are wide open now. So you could call in and give me what you think about the, rewarding your children when they have to do chores for you. So we cannot leave today without talking about what financial instruments are available to women.
Yeah.
So now we know that we need to be disciplined, we need to be able to plan, we need to be able to ensure that we work within our budget, we need to ensure that savings is something that we have to cultivate, we need to be able to motivate our children, we need to make our children earn whatever it is they're going to get. So now we've gotten all of that. What financial instruments are available? And a lot of times women don't like to discuss financial instruments, but it's something that we really have to be able to talk about so that people make better plans around their finances. So please talk to us about a few of them.
Okay. So, well, these financial instruments can be used by both men and women, but for the purposes of this show, for women. Okay. So the first that I would like to talk about is Treasury Bills. And I believe that is the most common one that we all know about or we've all heard. So you can walk into any bank and then and ask to buy Treasury Bills. Now, I'm going to touch on the characteristics or the features of Treasury Bills. Treasury Bills are government instruments. So what this means is that if the government needs money, okay, to do some projects in the country, okay, it's the government can either go out to borrow from external donors, or they can borrow from the domestic market, okay? Or when the government feels like there's too much money in the system and they need to mop out money, they also issue Treasury Bills. So with that in mind, you know that Treasury Bills is for the government, okay? The governments are the ones who, I think there's a caller.
Hello, do we have a caller now? Okay, all right.
Okay, so the government issues Treasury Bills. So now, depending on what your investment goal is, okay, as I mentioned, there are different investment buckets you can save towards, or investment goals, depending. So if you're saving for it.
So hold that thought. We have a caller. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Please, what's your name and where are you calling us from?
My name is Trudy Entry, and I'm calling from Achimota.
Okay, Trudy, please tell us what your contribution or your question is.
All right. Thank you for tonight. You are looking extraordinary. You are looking very beautiful.
Thank
both
you.
of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I do second with my sister over there. You know, I'm trying to, add something to what she said. I have a son who is called Benjamin. And, sometimes I do send him. He goes like, Mom, won't you take me a little bit? So it's my son that I learned that thing from. And I have to teach him for his hard work that he's doing. Yeah. So it has helped me a lot. With his kiddie bank, even in the room, it's even booming.
Wow.
And what he said, I do second it. If all African women will practice that, it's going to help us a lot.
Wow,
it's amazing. Help us a lot.
Amazing.
So I do second with what she said, and I'm enjoying the program anyway.
Thank you. So keep watching, okay? Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
It looks like we are getting, very close to the time to close. So let's just
Wrap
hit
up.
on the Treasury bill. So normally there's a percentile. So they tell you that there's a certain amount or a percentage on the Treasury bill when you buy.
Exactly.
Could you explain what that means?
Yeah. Okay. So I was going to get to that. So with the Treasury bills, there are different types of Treasury bills that they issue. They have the 91-day, which is for 3 months, the 182-day, which is for 6 months, and then they have the 1-year note, which is for 365 days. Okay. Now, depending on what you're purchasing, there's a stipulated return or rate on it. So Treasury bills, they'll tell you that, okay, purchase a 91-day Treasury bill at 13%. Okay. Now, what that means is that a 91-day Treasury bill at 13% is for 3 months. 3 months, when you put in your 1,000 cedi, for 3 months, your 13% would be broken into 4. Okay? So what that means is that each quarter, you earn something. So if you put your money into Treasury bill and they tell you, oh, it's for 13%, you're not going to get the entire 13%.
Okay.
You're just going to get what the fraction for that quarter.
So I think that's where a lot of people get it wrong. They expect to get 13%, you know, every month. So but after the 3 months, they want 13 times 3, like 39%.
No,
so that's not the case.
Yeah, because
it will actually be broken into 4.
Yeah, because percentile is for the entire year. 100% is for the entire year. And so when you want to break it into quarters, then you have 25% each for 100%. So if they're issuing you 13%, then it means that the 13% is going to be broken into 4 quarters. So you're not going to get the entire 13%. So if you do your 91 day at 13%, you will get a quarter of 13% for that period. However, in order to get the entire 13%, you have to roll over. So you put that money. So if you put in 1,000 cedi and you get that quarter of 13%, you roll it over for the next 3 months. You roll it over for the next 3 months. So if you stay in for the entire year, that is when you get that full 13%. But until then, you wouldn't get that full 13%.
Wow, thank you very much. It looks like our time is up, and I would like to say the show will be coming back to you on Saturday at 12, the repeat broadcast, if you did not start with us, okay? So do not get disturbed that you didn't get to watch everything. You can see the repeat broadcast on Saturday. And today we've been talking to a marketing and a communications associate. She's Clara, and she's also always on YFM. Giving people financial tips, and somebody even called to say, hey, I've been listening to you. So she's actually a good person when it comes to financial tips. So if you have any further questions, please send it to our social media pages, and then we get to respond to them, because right now we need to leave for the next program, which that is coming up. I can see my co-presenter, he's standing by urging me to just leave the studio. So it's been a wonderful time with you. I want to say a big thank you to Voltic, Chana Shito, Lizzy's Tomato Mix, and Afariwa Styles, Awu's Hair. Thank you all so much for being part of the show. Do enjoy the rest of our interesting lineup for you. Bye-bye.